People have so many questions when you tell them that you make big leaf maple syrup. It's really neat to explain to them how simple the process really can be, and how you can punch a hole in a couple trees and make yourself some glorious syrup.
The United States produces 5 million gallons of maple syrup a year, with almost all of it coming from the Northeast. But today, a budding movement is forming to make syrup using an underappreciated resource we have in abundance here in the Northwest, the native big leaf maple tree.
It was regarded as kind of a weed. Foresters tried to eradicate it so that they could get more Douglas fir and hemlock and more valuable species, but it's stubborn and it persists.
When it comes to syrup production, not all maples are created equal. There's a reason why the East Coast sugar maple has become the industry's workhorse.
The big difference is that sugar maples have about a 2 to 2.5% sugar content in the sap, and big leaf maple is about half of that. So we have to process twice as much sap to get syrup.
Weather patterns also play a role. Sap flows from maple trees in the warming period after a hard freeze. And in the Northwest, those freezes are more unpredictable than they are out east. But Kent Weiler thinks these issues can be overcome, and he's been leading a study through the University of Washington to gather data on sap flows.
We're hoping that with additional income that can come from maple production, that landowners will have an economic incentive to keep those forests as forests and not convert to other uses.
Case in point, Andrew Sharman's family recently purchased a piece of forested property in Kitsap County, and he's exploring the idea of tapping his trees.
But you can kind of see here where it's opening up. There's tons of, big leaf maples. So.
Yeah. Jeff Rupert has offered to take a look at the property to assess its syrup-making potential.
Walking through his property, it's perfect. Gentler slope would be nicer, but we beggars can't be choosers in Western Washington. It's gullies.
Oh, this is where it gets fun then.
Yeah, it gets a little steeper. I think we could almost start with just tapping one side of the hill and see how it goes, and maybe if it's going well, we could plan a way to connect to the other side as well. But
for sure.
Yeah.
After the sap is collected, processing it into syrup is the next piece of the puzzle. Andrew could either buy his own equipment, or he could take it to Jeff, who's built a sugar shack on his property, complete with reverse osmosis system and an evaporator. Both are machines used to remove water content from the sap, leaving just the concentrated sugar and flavor.
I bought this equipment with the idea of participating in a co-op or having local landowners come to me to be able to help them out. So what we have is the two divided pans. There's basically baffles in between sections, and so this will be your raw sap over here, and as it heats up, it actually moves closer to the finishing pan.
Today, hobbyists like Jeff are the majority of big leaf maple syrup producers in the state. There's just one company making and selling big leaf maple syrup on a commercial scale, Neil's Big Leaf in Whatcom County, with a couple of others working to get licensed. The hobbyists of today, with the potential to become the industry of tomorrow.
We'd like to see it develop somewhat like the wine industry, so that each valley and each county has their own special blends and flavors. We've already seen that some syrups from Quilcene, for example, taste different from ones from Sultan, and we think that's kind of exciting and unique.
Big leaf maple syrup is a bit richer. A lot of people will taste hints of like a toffee or a caramel.
Chefs and bartenders really like it because it's good for mixing drinks and putting on salmon.
I really enjoy it over like yogurt or ice cream. I normally tell people that it's not a pancake syrup, but then again, I have friends and family that will float their pancakes in it.
Many think big leaf maple syrup could represent a new Northwest staple, one that could help us celebrate and preserve what makes our region unique. Imagine small-scale producers selling bottles at Pike Place Market and farm-to-table restaurants incorporating their favorite varieties into seasonal menus.
I could see it being a tourist attraction, really. People flock to sugar shacks on the East Coast to be able to see the operation and see the billowing steam and smell, and I could totally see that happening in key locations in Western Washington. And it's not too far off. My crystal ball says 3 to 5 years.
Watch CityStream Tuesday nights at 7 on the Seattle channel, or find us anytime online at seattle.gov.